The saying goes, to win today, every company needs to be a software company. Here's how companies are building the next-gen real estate tech. Please welcome Matt Barba from Placer, Christina Allen from Compass, and Alex Perillo, Chairman of Realogy, and your moderator, Ben Kinney.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. I never get a response. This is awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So we had this little game backstage, and we're gonna compare each other's business bank accounts. So I got to go first, unfortunately. And Alex says to me, in my world, that's a rounding error. This combined panel, Alex alone spent $150 million last year to acquire a company, Zip Realty. Matt's raised $50 million to get his company Placer going. And Christina, they raised $100+ million to grow this real estate brokerage brand called Compass. And we want to ask the question, really, what are these money bags spending their money on this year? And maybe, Alex, I got an opportunity to hack into your email last night.
Okay.
There's some weird stuff, Russian dating. Yeah. It was weird. But the one thing I saw something about a Zap store.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Okay. Well, first of all, it was 167 million.
Oh, sorry. I rounded down.
You rounded down. But the strategy behind it was really twofold. And the big picture with the Zip acquisition was to long-term take the dysfunction out of innovation. And this is really a message to really everybody in this room that's innovating in the real estate space. All the innovators that we've talked to every year with the Forward innovation summits that we put on, great ideas, great products, great tools, great concepts. They all have one thing as a challenge in common, and that is, how do I integrate my product, my tool with the industry?
Nothing connects.
Nothing connects. You got 1,500 boards of realtors. You got 800 MLSs, 850 MLSs. Every broker in the country is on a different platform. Every agent's using something different. So I could have a great tool, a great idea. It works super in Seattle. I go to Portland, I'm starting all over again. So it slows things down. You typically will run out of money in the process. You don't get scale quickly, so it's hard to attract capital. So the Zap store is really the evolution of what we're doing. Get everybody at Realogy, all of our brokers, agents, on a common platform. The web, the mobile app, CRM product, agent website, that's the core. Everything else will be in the Zap store. So think of it like your iPhone, like the App Store in an iPhone. All these innovators have to do is integrate one time with the Zap platform, and they have access to tens of thousands of customers all across all of our brands. And the integration piece is already done. You just have to integrate one time. So that's really, what I visualize the next few years is sort of the supermarket for the super agent on great technology tools. And the users will decide what's best. So we're going to be very agnostic as it comes to transaction management, back office, client follow-up. We're not going to say, this is how you have to do business. Just have whoever you're doing business integrate with our platform so it will be seamless.
Can any product be in the Zap store?
As long as it's not pornographic or illegal, I would imagine we'd let it in. Yeah.
Mine's out. Yeah. Mine is out. This is brutal. Hey, Matt, huge fan. You guys got 250,000 users on your platform. That's a quarter of the realtors in the world. You and I had a conversation about taking work activities in the agent mobile. What are you guys going to spend that $50 million on?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, we come at the question of the real estate industry from this perspective that everybody needs a common operating system, right? I mean, we're all talking about how technology is taking over the real estate world, and to Alex's point, everything needs to be integrated and talk to each other. And so that's really Placer's mission, is to build, an integrated platform where everything can work. And one of the big gaps that we're seeing is, as Ben saying, is that there's not really a good back-end mobile app for the everyday agent, the everyday broker. And it's going to be one of the big focuses for Placer in 2016, is to really take that core experience that you have on the web app and bring it mobile. So, go ahead.
What do you think's really missing from from an agent's workflow or an agent's doing their job point of view, what features do they need in the mobile app?
I mean, Alex hit on it perfectly. You know, the MLS system in here in the United States is a big gap of what's missing in mobile, right? I mean, a real estate professional today finds it very, very challenging to pull up all the MLS listings on their phone. So when they're out on a showing and they want to transition to a different property, or you know, they need to look up a specific comp or a specific fact, that's very, very challenging for the average real estate professional out there. And we're really on a mission to make that and things like that available to everyone. So you don't have to spend you know, hundreds or thousands of dollars to get it. It's really democratized for our whole industry.
For Alex or Matt, are you guys innovating as far as search goes?
Yeah.
And can you give an example of what features you guys are thinking of
I
putting
think
into
search,
place?
To me, search is right now, it's very one-dimensional. You put in a zip code, you put in a town, you put in an MLS number, you look at the property. What we're seeing and what we're developing, and some of our brands are leading the charge on this, is lifestyle search. That's not the way people look at houses. I mean, you go in and you put what's important to you. What are your interests? What do you like? Just as an example, where I live in northern New Jersey, we live on a lake. And there's 5 towns that surround that lake, that border that lake. If I'm looking for a lakefront property, I have to know the 5 towns and the 5 zip codes of those towns in order to see everything that's for sale on that, in that market. So if I wanted a lakefront house, you know, I should just be able to go, I want to have a lakefront house. And by the way, why limit it to just that one lake? I want to live in northern New Jersey, 45 minutes or less from my office in Madison. I'd like to live on a lake and have a house with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a boathouse, and see everything that matches that description.
Close to a bar,
Close to a bar,
to Starbucks.
Whatever. Put in all of those points,
Yeah.
and then have a menu of things that I could see without even having to know all of this detail about MLS numbers and whatever. And I think it's there. The challenge is going to be from the industry is getting the rich data from the agent who's taking the listing. If I don't put all that stuff in, if I don't mention the boathouse, then it's not going to show up in a search.
Partially because MLSs are limiting the amount of data fields that we even have to put things in.
So the MLSs are going to have to up their game too, to say we're going to put in all of these fields that are searchable.
I can't think of anybody smarter to talk about data than Christina. Christina came from LinkedIn and developed a lot of the features around universities and degrees. And Christina, you guys got a truckload of money. It's an amazing valuation for a real estate company. How are you guys investing your money into data?
You know, I think that in general we've seen, you know, in Silicon Valley and the products that have come out, that there's, you know, there are products that can increase the connections between information and between people, right? And so, you know, data is incredibly important for that, and you can make very, very rich stories. You know, we are really focused this year you know, on making a great agent experience and building tools for agents. And the goal of that is to help agents connect with information more easily, right? To get the kind of bureaucratic stuff out of the way so that when a client asks a question about other units in the building or what's the neighborhood doing, on the quantitative side, there are very easy answers to those questions. You know, you could take our listing strategy tool, which basically tells you, you know, for this area, for comparable sales, you can go and talk to your client about the fact that if you overprice this, we've seen that overpricing leads to a much longer time on the market for listings and a lower ultimate price. So on the information side, what we're doing is we're really trying to take all of this information and turn it into the kinds of answers and stories and conversations that, that agents want to have with their clients. And on the people side, you know, what agents bring is this incredible knowledge, this local knowledge. You know, I've bought houses all over the country and investment properties, and I one time tried to do it by myself for sale by owner, and I will never do that again. It was a nightmare, right? Truly.
It's the right room to say that, trust me.
Right. No, I mean, really, try it. It's not fun. And you know, there's this incredible knowledge and this local knowledge and this insight that the agent can bring to the client relationship. So a lot of what we're trying to do is get all of the other stuff out of the way with these seamless tools so that you can focus on what you're really, really good at, which is finding that match. it's an analogy to LinkedIn, where LinkedIn really reformed the recruiting business and gave recruiters this incredible power. Because before, they only got the resumes of the people that applied, and there's stacks of them, and you have to go through them and process them through an applicant tracking system. And with LinkedIn, recruiters were able to find, and look at all of the people who are professionals out there, figure out who is the best match, and then spend their time trying to communicate with that person and bring them into the work. So those are the empowerment, like the focuses of our empowerment. Like, how do we get that information to you to tell these stories, to have these conversations, to bring the insights to bear? And then how do we use these tools to help you build better and richer relationships to bring your expertise to bear?
One of my mentors says, it doesn't matter what Zillow does or Trulia does or a company that we can't even name at the moment, because the one thing that they can't take away from us is our relationships that we have, the people that know and trust us, and our absolute local knowledge, our ability to know the difference between this neighborhood and that one, because we actually live here. And I think that's the one thing that technology can't take away. What would be your guys' advice to the industry on what you think they should invest their money in right now, quickly?
Well, I think for the tech folks that are out there developing and looking for a product that would be interesting to the industry, I think the next evolution of predictive analytics. There's a lot of good stuff out there right now, which would sort of indicate who is likely to buy and who is likely to sell. I think the science is pretty much figured out. What's missing is the art. Now that I know that information, how do I reach that person? What's the right message to that person? What else about that person do I need to know so that the message I'm sending them resonates with them and they'll pick up the phone and call me? If anybody can figure that out, let me know, and you'll be on the Zap store very quickly.
Smart answer.
Yeah.
But by the way, did you pay too much for Zip Realty? Did you pay the right price?
It was a bargain.
It was a bargain. You stole it.
No, I didn't steal it. I didn't steal it.
All right. Matt?
We look at the industry from the perspective of the everyday agent, the everyday broker, and I think from that perspective, the big advice that we would give everybody is to really digitize that local knowledge and that local expertise that you were talking about. I 100% agree. That's something that can never be taken away from agents and brokers, and that local knowledge is what makes everybody valuable and irreplaceable. And so getting that digitized, whether that's blogging about it, writing about it, including it in your drip email, including it in your advertising, including it in your conversations, I think makes you incredibly powerful and ultimately irreplaceable.
Are you guys working on a natural language search?
We are, yeah.
Is that private? Or should I not have said that?
No. It's out in the universe. We beta tested it for quite a while with a number of major media companies here in the United States, and it's actually rolled out to the rest of the agent and broker population now. It's available today. And to echo what Alex said, I totally agree. We call it search asymmetry, right? If you're a consumer and you don't know what to look for, how would you select something in a drop down to find it? And so when we thought about that problem, we figured out it was very much the solve problem with Google. You just type in whatever you want and things appear, and sort of Google figures out how that works. And so we wanted to build the same thing for listing search. And so that's, we're working on it every day. It's an evolving process, but it gets smarter every day.
My best guess is natural language search will be the way all search is done within 5 years.
I agree.
Christina, what would be the last thing you give advice to these guys, brokers, tech companies? What should they be building or thinking about?
I agree with Matt on the data side. I think that there's fear around that, but that's really not what having incomplete data. It's not really a good thing, right? What's good is that we can start to use that stuff to create much richer experiences, the lakefront thing. An analogy that I use is online dating, right? Like, people actually have to go through a process of figuring out what they really want. They always say they want the 6-foot-tall person who walks on the beach and plays badminton, but they end up with some nebbishy person who's typing in front of the computer, and they love them,
Yeah.
So, and you guys know this, it's the same thing. Like, they tell you what they want, and it turns out to be something different. The more richness and the more data that we can bring in, the more those kinds of experiences and that more qualitative aspect can help you have those conversations and find the right place more quickly.
Half of these people found their actual husband or wife as a client first. Kidding. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being up here. Everybody give them a round of applause.
All right, thank you.